When installing a home standby generator and integrating circuits from multiple electrical panels, such as an outside panel for a water heater, an air conditioning unit, and an inside panel for other selected circuits, there's a systematic approach to ensure a safe and compliant installation. Firstly, install a subpanel within the outside panel. This subpanel will specifically house the circuits dedicated to the water heater and the air conditioning unit. Run new wires from the main panel to this new subpanel located inside the outside panel. These wires will act as the feeder to supply power to the subpanel. Secondly, connect the outside circuits to the subpanel. Disconnect the existing wires that power the water heater and the air conditioning unit from the original outside panel connections. Now connect these disconnected wires to the appropriate circuit breakers within the newly installed subpanel. This effectively moves the water heater and air conditioning unit circuits into the subpanel. Thirdly, run a feeder cable from the outside panel to the transfer switch. This feeder cable will carry power from the subpanel in the outside panel to the transfer switch, which is typically located near the main panel inside the house. The size of this cable is crucial and must be appropriately sized to handle the combined load demand of the water heater and air conditioning unit circuits. Consult electrical codes and load calculations to determine the correct wire gauge and ampacity for this feeder cable. Fourthly, connect the feeder cable to the transfer switch. At the transfer switch, connect the feeder cable you ran from the outside subpanel to the designated terminals. This connection will enable the generator to supply power to the outside subpanel and consequently to the water heater and air conditioning unit when the main power is interrupted. Fifthly, address grounding. If the outside panel, where you installed the subpanel, is not already adequately grounded, it's essential to establish a proper grounding connection. Run a ground wire from the ground bar in the main panel to the ground bar in the outside subpanel. This ground wire ensures a safe path for fault currents and helps prevent electrical shock hazards. Additional considerations include ensuring that the transfer switch is appropriately rated. The transfer switch must have a sufficient ampacity rating to handle the combined load of all the circuits that will be transferred to generator power, including both the inside circuits and the circuits in the outside subpanel. Carefully calculate the total load and select a transfer switch that meets or exceeds this requirement. Verify all electrical connections. After making all the wiring connections, meticulously inspect each connection to ensure it is tight and secure. Loose connections can lead to overheating, arcing, and potential fire hazards. Use appropriate tools to tighten connections to the specified torque values. Test the system. Once all the connections are made and verified, conduct a thorough test of the system. Start the generator and confirm that power is correctly transferred to both the inside circuits and the circuits in the outside subpanel. Use a multimeter to verify voltage levels at various points in the system. Strictly adhere to electrical codes and manufacturer's specifications. Throughout the entire installation process, meticulously follow all applicable local electrical codes such as the National Electrical Code, as well as the manufacturer's specifications for the generator, transfer switch, and other electrical components. These codes and specifications provide essential guidelines for safer and compliant installation and operation. Now let's delve deeper into some specific aspects of this process. When selecting a subpanel for the outside panel, consider the number of circuits you need to accommodate. Choose a subpanel with enough breaker slots to handle the water heater and air conditioning unit circuits, with some spare slots for future expansion. Ensure that the subpanel is rated for the appropriate voltage, typically 120/240 volts for residential applications, and has a sufficient ampacity rating to handle the anticipated load. When running the feeder cable from the main panel to the subpanel in the outside panel, use appropriately sized conductors. The size of the conductors depends on the ampacity required to serve the load. Refer to the National Electrical Code Table 310.15 to determine the appropriate conductor size based on the ampacity and the type of insulation. Remember to account for voltage drop, which can occur over long distances. Using larger conductors can help minimize voltage drop and ensure that the equipment receives the proper voltage. When connecting the water heater and air conditioning unit circuits to the subpanel, use appropriately rated circuit breakers. The circuit breakers should be sized to protect the conductors and the equipment from overcurrent. Consult the equipment nameplates in the National Electrical Code to determine the correct breaker size. When running the feeder cable from the outside subpanel to the transfer switch, consider using conduit to protect the cable from physical damage. Conduit can be made of metal or non-metallic materials, depending on the application and local codes. Secure the conduit properly to the building structure using appropriate supports. When connecting the feeder cable to the transfer switch, ensure that the connections are tight and secure. Use a torque wrench to tighten the connections to the manufacturer's specified torque values. Loose connections can lead to overheating and failure. When adding a ground wire from the main panel to the outside subpanel, use a conductor of the appropriate size. The size of the ground wire depends on the size of the ungrounded conductors. Refer to the National Electrical Code Table 250.122 to determine the appropriate ground wire size. Ensure that the ground wire is securely connected to the ground bars in both panels. When testing the system, use a multimeter to verify the voltage at various points. Check the voltage at the main panel, the subpanel, the transfer switch, and the equipment. Ensure that the voltage is within the acceptable range. Also, check the current draw of the equipment to ensure that it is within the rated capacity. When following electrical codes and manufacturer's specifications, pay close attention to the grounding requirements. Proper grounding is essential for safety and helps to prevent electrical shock hazards. Ensure that all grounding connections are made in accordance with the National Electrical Code. In summary, integrating circuits from multiple electrical panels into a single transfer switch for a home standby generator requires careful planning and execution. By following these steps and adhering to all applicable codes and specifications, you can ensure a safe and reliable installation. Firstly, install a subpanel in the outside panel. Secondly, connect the outside circuits to the subpanel. Thirdly, run a feeder cable from the outside panel to the transfer switch. Fourthly, connect the feeder cable to the transfer switch. Fifthly, add a ground wire if applicable. Additionally, ensure the transfer switch is properly rated, verify all electrical connections, test the system thoroughly, and follow all local electrical codes and manufacturer's specifications for safe installation and operation. Also, consider these additional tips. Double-check all wire connections to ensure they are secure and properly torqued. Use a non-contact voltage tester to verify that circuits are de-energized before working on them. Label all wires and connections clearly for easy identification. Keep the work area clean and organized to prevent accidents. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment, such as safety glasses and gloves. If you are not comfortable working with electricity, hire a qualified electrician to perform the installation. Regular maintenance is also essential for ensuring the reliable operation of your home standby generator system. Schedule regular inspections and maintenance checks to identify and address any potential problems before they become major issues. Check the generator's oil level, coolant level, and battery condition. Clean the generator and the transfer switch to remove any dirt or debris. Test the system periodically to ensure that it is functioning properly. Keep a record of all maintenance activities. Remember that working with electricity can be dangerous. Always take the necessary precautions to protect yourself from electrical shock. If you are unsure about any aspect of the installation or maintenance process, consult a qualified electrician. By following these guidelines, you can safely and effectively integrate circuits from multiple electrical panels into a single transfer switch for your home standby generator, ensuring that your essential appliances and equipment remain powered during a power outage. Now let's discuss some common challenges and troubleshooting tips. One common challenge is dealing with limited space in the electrical panels. If the panels are crowded, it can be difficult to install the subpanel and run the necessary wiring. In this case, consider using a larger panel or relocating some of the existing circuits to make more space. Another challenge is identifying the correct circuits to transfer to the generator. It's important to carefully consider which circuits are essential during a power outage and to avoid overloading the generator. Create a load calculation worksheet to determine the total load that will be transferred to the generator and ensure that the generator is capable of handling that load. If you experience problems with the transfer switch not functioning properly, check the following. Verify that the generator is running and producing power. Check the voltage and frequency of the generator output. Ensure that the transfer switch is wired correctly. Check the fuses or circuit breakers in the transfer switch. If the water heater or air conditioning unit is not receiving power from the generator, check the following. Verify that the feeder cable from the outside subpanel to the transfer switch is connected properly. Check the circuit breakers in the subpanel. Ensure that the water heater and air conditioning unit are wired correctly. If you experience any other problems with the system, consult a qualified electrician for assistance. Remember that proper planning, careful execution, and regular maintenance are essential for ensuring the safe and reliable operation of your home standby generator system. By following these guidelines, you can protect your home and family during a power outage. The NEC, or National Electrical Code, is a comprehensive set of standards for electrical wiring and equipment installation in the United States. It is published by the National Fire Protection Association, or NFPA, and is updated every 3 years. The NEC covers a wide range of topics, including wiring methods, overcurrent protection, grounding, and equipment installation. It is essential for electricians, contractors, and anyone else who works with electricity to be familiar with the NEC. The NEC is not law, but it is widely adopted by state and local governments as the basis for their electrical codes. Compliance with the NEC is essential for ensuring the safety of electrical installations and preventing electrical fires and other hazards. Some key articles in the NEC that are relevant to home standby generator installations include Article 220, which covers load calculations, Article 250, which covers grounding and bonding, Article 445, which covers generators, Article 700, which covers emergency systems, Article 701, which covers legally required standby systems, and Article 702, which covers optional standby systems. It is important to consult the latest edition of the NEC to ensure that your installation complies with the current requirements. Additionally, local codes and regulations may have additional requirements that must be followed. Always check with your local building department to determine the specific requirements in your area. In addition to the NEC, there are other standards and guidelines that may be relevant to home standby generator installations. These include the National Electrical Manufacturers Association, or NEMA, standards which cover the design and performance of electrical equipment, and the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, or IE, standards which cover various aspects of electrical engineering. It is important to be aware of these other standards and guidelines and to follow them as applicable. Home standby generators are a valuable investment for homeowners who want to protect their homes and families during power outages. By following these guidelines and adhering to all applicable codes and standards, you can ensure that your generator system is installed safely and reliably and that it will provide you with years of trouble-free service.